Welcome to Model Train Outsider, episode whatever. Wait! What? What are you doing? I thought I'd start the show for a change. What makes you think you get to start the show? Because you're finally doing it. You're finally getting to work. You're finally actually building the dream I gave you so long ago. And on a New Year's Day, I think it's rather appropriate to look back at the past and look forward to the future. Or your present, or our future, or whatever. It's easy for him. He doesn't do any of the work. All right, it is December 31st, New Year's Eve morning, and I've spent the last several days working on my train table. I have been designing and redesigning this table for 3 years. It's a long story. I tried to talk about it in the first video, and I've referred back to it. Got the train, decided I wanted to build a layout, had a big, long table that grew, and grew. Then decided I really wanted to make a really nice layout. All along, I knew I wanted to build a city called Delmenhorst, but I've been scared to proceed. Scared because of the time involved. Scared because of things have happened in the last few years that I don't necessarily trust my construction skills as much in fine detail things. But I'm doing it on my own. Part of the problem of being an outsider. So I want to show you a couple of things I shot yesterday just to explain some of the changes. I started with the underneath. One of the issues I have with where my train layout is that a couple of years ago, our basement was gutted. We were having leakage problems in the basement, water seeping in. We didn't realize it because the basement was carpeted, and we didn't notice it till much too long. And when the professionals came in, because my fixes weren't working, they basically said our foundation was filled with water, and they had to put in a whole new weeping system. If there's anybody who doesn't know what a weeping system is, a weeping system is what drains water away from your house. So they dug up all around my house outside and put in an exterior weeping system, and they came into my basement to drain the foundation, and they dug up the entire basement, tore out all the walls. That was a lot of money. A lot of money. The silver lining in that hurricane cloud was that I had to redo the basement, which meant new walls and a lot of new things behind the walls. And I was able to change some problems in this basement, including lighting issues. It was always dark in here. We had fluorescent lighting, and it was just horrible. And but it also allowed me to create some space. The problem is, our house is middle to small. It was actually what we call in America a starter home, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. And my wife and I raised 3 tall kids here. I'm 6'3", my wife is 5'8". I've got a son who's 6'2". I've got 2 daughters that are 5'11". And this house really was too small to raise such a family. We expanded it. We added on to it over the years to create more space. About a year ago at this time, I built the new layout table, this big C shape that you may have seen in a couple of my train videos. But I've done nothing else than run trains. I never really started working on the layout because I was constantly looking at other issues, fear being one of them. I knew I had to build this Delmenhorst station, and that creates a host of problems because the station actually is under the tracks, and putting in ramps and hills, and exactly how do I want to do that? Do I want to make it hills coming down? How am I going to slope everything? And those are issues that I had not solved until recently. So one of the things we also needed with so many people living in this small house is storage space. You never have enough storage space. This table was taken up because originally this table was designed to be 2 levels. I was going to have a lower level and upper level. Well, long story short, lower level is gone. And what that did was create a lot of storage space underneath the tables that we need. We can put buckets of filing cabinets and so forth and store some things. And then what I did, as you'll see in the video, is I needed storage for me. I needed to organize my train stuff, the boxes for my trains, the tracks, the models. Everything was just scattered around here. So I went to a rehab store, as you'll see in the update video. Anyhow, so I've begun the laborious process of taking everything down. And you can see just a little bit of the progress. Who knows if anybody is interested, but I'll put it out here. You can look and see the idiocy that continues to be me and my train affliction. So here's what's gone on the last 2 days.
So this is the chaos that is my table as of December 28th. Actually, I've already been cleaning up some of the area. We've been making modifications for a few reasons. Number one, if you look here, you can see one of the old legs. I had several of these old legs with these small casters. Well, a couple of them broke, even though the weight support limit was easily done correctly. A couple of them broke. They were cheaply made, so we've elected to go, if you can see the front leg, with much stronger, fatter casters on the legs. So I've been slowly replacing the legs. The other issue we're trying to do is storage issues. This was our basement, and we used to have a closet in that back corner, very similar to the closet here. And we're just trying to fit things in the house, and our house is maxed out on storage space. However, there's lots of room underneath. Well, not only are we going with fatter casters, we're obviously going with fatter legs, fewer and fatter legs. And again, everything should be within the weight limits, but this is going to give me a lot of storage space underneath these tables, not only for my train stuff, but for some other things. And that's the other issue. Anybody who's looked at my videos knows that in my sort of command area, I've just got boxes stacked up, and I've got just random bookcases. Well, I went out at a rehab store. Here in America, we have these secondhand stores where this one's run by Habitats for Humanity, a great organization, and when instead of people throwing out their old furniture and bookshelves and such, they donate them to these groups. And so I bought some shelving, some really nice credenzas and so forth for very cheap, and they're going to be going in here as well to allow me to store things. We have plumbing access and electrical access we have to be able to get to. And there will come a day where I'm not going to be able to climb under there, but we do have a plumbing access there because every now and then, a couple of times in the 25 years we've lived here, plumbers have had to come in to snake out the system. The plumbing system in our neighborhood is in need of updating. They've been updating the outside water lines and waste lines, but underneath the houses, well, we just had our basement redone, and one of the things we did was had a plumbing access put in over there. So it just makes the job of the plumber a little easier than having to go through the laundry and move our washer and dryer around. But anyhow, so while we're at it, I've already started taking down the track because this all goes away now, and I'm going to start installing my station and laying out the actual layout and start building my city, which I'll start doing some videos of that once I get going there. This side is going to become a parking area. One of the original goals was I wanted to have a bi-level layout, but it's just not feasible. There was just no great access point to put in a helix anywhere, and even then, it wasn't going to be quite feasible to do it. So I've given up on that idea. I'm just going to stick with my single layer here, but I am going to create a parking area over here and basically just reduce my farm view. And I was going to build a sort of combination Bremen-Hanover station over there. I'm just going to have the station now, but not the city. I'm just going to have a station over there, and then I'll be able to fit my farm areas in somewhere, but the parking area is going over there. But I'm expanding this side a few more inches just to gain that much more run. But right now, everything's a mess until I can get things organized. All right. So it's a couple hours later, and I've now got these credenzas. I removed the doors just because didn't need them. And now I have all my train accessory boxes on this side, all neatly stacked, where they were kind of in chaos on that old bookshelf and they didn't fit. Here they all fit. It's looking good. On this side I've got the credenza in, and if you look you can see I've got all my track boxes and track accessories ready to go in with plenty more space. So I've been able to clear out a lot of junk. I've still got a lot to go in the long run because I've cleared this area out under my work area. I'm going to be able to put some shelving in. Those legs here and here, which actually help support this workbench, are going to go, and the shelving is going to support a workbench. It'll be both shelving underneath for storage, maybe for model boxes and whatever other accessories I've got, and it'll allow me to really make this work area, which is, again, everything here is thrown together. It's just spare pieces of plywood I had, and I just kept adding, and it became a Frankenstein in both the positive and the negative meanings of that. But now that we're going to clear this all and start putting things in and laying the track officially, I'm going to have to box up some of my trains, but for now, I'm going to work on one section just because a lot of these, like the Roco and the ICE, they don't like you taking them apart, putting them back together, taking them apart. So the longer I can leave them together and not take them apart and box them up again, the better. So I'm just going to work on one section and then get the main track laid in. And if I can avoid boxing the trains up, I will. All right. It's about 10:30 p.m. on December 30th. And, well, I've added the extension here. I had a 12-inch wide. This is now 16 inches wide here, just gaining what space I can where I can, because you always want more space. So I've added that in. I still have to, you can see we've started packing up the track, and then we got to move the buildings. Everything's going to get put on that building. I've got to put the trains away. But as I showed you earlier, I've got this cabinetry in. I put a little fascia across it to hide some of the jerry-rigging to use the cabinet to help support the weight of that side down here. It's really nice. And I'll end tonight with just this one bit, the bookcase that was here. And this is something I always wanted to steal this space here. I really wanted to steal all of this and just expand it out up to this wall and bring it all the way up to this corner here. But I can't do it. It just doesn't work. We really need this mobile. And so these cabinets are attached to this table, and we can just take the cabinets, and on these strong castered wheels, like you can see down there, this whole thing slides as one unit rather than building it sectional. But we have electrical panel, well, not electrical panel. We have a plumbing access that has to be reachable for plumbers down here to check on the weeping system and the drainage system, which can back up in this neighborhood. And then just telephone, electrical, and cable access points that have to be accessible, which means we have to be able to pull this table out far enough for a person to get back there with their tools. So on the bright side, I can get some shelving in here for storage, because that's the premium word, is storage. So that's where we're at. The next big thing is this middle section. Once we get all the track and the trains put away, I've got the wood over there. You can see it. This is going to become, it's about 22 inches wide now. It's going to become 30 inches. The middle section is coming out a bit. And that's going to be my big scenic display right now. Plans will change, but right now that's going to be a sort of a sloping downhill in the back and a river coming out a bit, which will represent the Weser River, which is the river that separates the city of Delmenhorst from the city of Bremen and beyond. And then over here this will be the parking area. I'll probably have a little farming community fields here, some sort of scenic display here. And then this will just be my parking area. This will be the parking area, and then I'll have my large normal station over here. But that is the plan as it is.
All right, so there you see what's kind of been going on the last few days. The arthritis in my body does not like me climbing under tables and fixing everything, but hey, when you're an outsider, you're the only one there who can do it, although my wife and my son have been very helpful. Anyhow, I want to take the last couple of minutes here and just wish everybody on this last day of 2018, I want to wish you all a very happy new year, hoping that 2019 is even better than you hope, because even if things aren't necessarily going the greatest for you, when we're on YouTube and we're sharing our train stories and we're sharing our train videos, remember, we're still probably living better than 90% of the people on Earth, and that's something to be thankful for heading into another year.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne?